Have you ever felt that everything would be easier if you knew how to cope when life throws you a tragic curveball? Our next speaker today will show you how to turn life's tragic events into your most pivotal moments. Karen Chaston is a business owner, beyond loss mentor, author of 8 books, an international keynote speaker, and has shared the stage with Marianne Williamson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Valerie Harper, and Dr. Ellie Drake. She has combined her 25 plus years as a chief financial officer and senior manager with her first-hand experience in loss to create programs which demonstrate the correlations between loss, people, and profits. Karen's motto is, life's too short to be suffering from any kind of loss. Unwrap the gift that it has brought and then design a life that you can live and love. Please welcome to the stage, Karen Chaston.
8 years ago, I found my 27-year-old son, Dan, at my back door, dead. Have you ever felt that life sends you these tragic events in order to assist you to become the person you are meant to be? I have found that you will learn and grow more from any tragic event than you will from any other. The Grief Recovery Institute teaches us that there are over 40 different loss events that can affect our lives. This means that each and every one of us will have multiple major losses throughout our lives. It could be a death of a loved one, a divorce, a partnership breakdown, a job loss, your health, your wealth, your pets, and many, many more. I find it quite fascinating that there are over 40 different loss events that can affect our lives, yet most of us don't even know how to cope with one, let alone multiple. We don't want to talk about it, we don't want to think about it, and there's only really a few of us that even know what to say when loss occurs. Today, I am sharing how to unwrap the gift of loss. Yes, I did say the gift of loss. Sounds like a bit of a mismatch, doesn't it? Especially when you consider that gift is a present that is given without expectation of payment. And loss is a fact or an event that occurs when you lose someone or something. I'm pretty sure that there's a few of you sitting here thinking, there was no loss. There was no gift when I lost. And I totally understand. So in order for me to explain to you how to unwrap the gift of loss, we're all going to go back to Sunday, the 10th of July, 2011. My husband and I thought we were going to have a lazy day at home, so we slept in. Though as he walked down the stairs towards the back door to take the rubbish out, he quickly opened it. And then he turned and he shouted back up the stairs, "Bloody hell! Dan's asleep at the back door!" Alarm bells went off as I quickly took the stairs because sure, Dan had a habit of drinking way too much, but he always made it home to bed. As I rushed out the door, I can see him lying there in the fetal position with saliva coming out of his mouth. Dan, wake up, please, wake up. We slowly turn him over. And then I think to myself, oh my God, his legs have stayed in the fetal position. Surely that's not rigor mortis. No, Karen, don't be silly. He's got saliva coming out of his mouth. He's okay. We've called the paramedics. It's okay. They'll take him to hospital and he'll be okay. The paramedics did quickly arrive and they just looked at him for 1 second and then they turned to me and they said those words that no mother ever wants to hear. I'm sorry, madam, he is dead. Probably has been for several hours. We found out much later that his lungs had failed him. No parent should ever have to bury their child. What does one do in that situation? What would you do? What did I do? I chose survival and I went straight back to work. At the time, I was a CFO of a publicly listed company. And the stress and toll of it all was taking its toll on me long before Dan had passed. As you can see by my old passport photo, I was very disconnected. I was living in a Groundhog Day days. I went and had my passport photo taken and my lipstick isn't ever on properly. I carried on, eating more, drinking more, and working even harder. Have a look at my eyes. It's clearly saying, Karen has left the building. Can you relate? Have you all experienced something similar to that? I now know that Dan's death was meant to have been my wake-up call. And as it didn't happen, life had to throw me another curveball. And this time, it came in the form of me having to make another choice. Stay with my company that's about to merge with another that already told me I wouldn't be CFO. But I'd be doing everything that you're doing now, Karen, and more. Oh, by the way, we're only going to pay you 2/3 of what we're paying you now. I had a choice to make, and I'm pleased to say that this time I chose wisely. I chose me, and that's when I started on the journey to becoming my own best friend. When I started to put me first, learning how to live and love my life. And as you can see by my new passport photo, it's been quite successful. And it's not just the lipstick. There are over 40 different loss events that can affect our lives. Have you ever noticed that we're all taught how to accumulate things and people? We're not taught what to do when we lose them. This is why, along my journey, I have become a Beyond Loss mentor, speaker, and author. We all know that loss is going to come to visit. And when it does, it can lead to grieving and suffering. And as well-intended as our friends and family are, they move on, leaving us to suffer in silence. No wonder we have all created trillion-dollar pharmaceutical and alcohol industries, and that the suicide rate has grown to such huge proportions. It doesn't have to be this way. The gift of loss is a 5-step process that assists anyone who is grieving from any kind of loss to create a better everyday life. But before I take you through the 5 steps, I feel it's very important that we all are reminded that for every single relationship we have, there are 3 components. The first component is a physical one. This is where we physically hang out with each other. The things we do, the things we say, all the events, the way we touch each other. When the loss event occurs, the physical relationship ends, as we will no longer speak or touch them in the same way that we used to. The second component is the emotional component. And this is all-encompassing. It encompasses all of our feelings, the good, the bad, the glad and the sad. The third component is the spiritual. And this is the intangible part. We know that we have a connection. We don't really understand why we are connected to this person, this place, or this thing. Whilst the physical relationship will end with the loss event, the emotional and the spiritual lives on forever. And the gift of loss process assists you to have a healthy emotional relationship moving forward. I purposely designed a staircase because it takes you from being down and out to a place where you are living and loving your life. The first step is to stop. Now, as I said earlier, I didn't do this. I disrespected Dan and myself. So often we feel if we just keep going and going and going and going, everything will be all right. It's not the case, because it's in the stopping that we get to take this conscious, loving breath. You know the one where you breathe deep down into your belly and you fill yourself up with all of the love and the wisdom, so you can figure out what this means for you now. After any of your loss events, did you take the time to stop? The second step is to accept. It's about us taking responsibility for what has happened, what didn't happen, and what it means for us moving forwards. So often, we go into the blame game. We blame everyone else for what has happened, forgetting that we were part of this relationship. You know, when they told me that I could stay with the new company for 2/3 of my salary, initially I was angry. How dare they treat me like this? I have given them my life and my health. But very, very quickly, within 24 hours, I started to unwrap the gift of loss, because I started to realise, oh my God, I'm only there for the money and I'm wasting most of it. They gave me the greatest gift you can give anyone. They gave me back my life and my health. The third step is to identify. And there's two components to identify. The first one is that for every relationship we have hopes, dreams and aspirations. It's about you identifying what these were, realising that they're not going to come to fruition the way that you expected, but then identifying other ways that they can still come to reality for you. Do you have any unreconciled hopes, dreams and aspirations in relation to your loss events? The second part of identifying is for us to identify any incomplete communications. We do things, we say things, we don't do things, we don't say things. They say things, they don't say things. Identifying what they are and then reconciling them. Do you have any incomplete communications? The fourth step is to complete. And this is where you bring all of those components together. Even though the physical relationship has ended, the emotional doesn't have to. And it's in this complete stage that we get to apologise, forgive, and to acknowledge. It's a beautiful stage to wrap it up so that you can have a healthy emotional relationship moving forward. You know, along my journey, I came to this amazing realisation, which was, I am the only person I am going to spend my entire life with. This was huge. It allowed me to get out of my own way and to dream big, really big, and to pivot. That's right. That is the 5th stage. And this is the most amazing part. This is the fun part because you get to go, right, this is where I am and this is where I want to be. So what are the skills, the actions, everything that has to happen to move me from where I am now to where I want to be? Once you figure that out, you then schedule it, and every day you take those action steps to close that gap and close that gap and close that gap. There are over 40 different loss events that can affect our lives. Don't you feel it's so many for a reason? Don't you feel that all the ups and downs, all the storms and the rainbows are all designed to help you? They're just like our heartbeat, up and down, up and down. And if our heartbeat was not up and down, what would it be? The gift of loss has assisted me to be the person who you see here today. I really love her. I really love everything about her. The fun-loving woman, the wife, the mother, the grandmother, the friend, the daughter, the sister, the businesswoman, the speaker, the author, even the CPA. Every morning I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror and I give myself the old Fonzie salute. Hey! Do you do that? Do you do that? Are there any loss events in your life that you are still suffering over? Dan passed at 27. Life is way too short for any of us to be grieving and suffering. Now is the time for us to unwrap the gift of loss for all of our loss events and to create a life where we live and love each and every day. And when you're ready to do it, you know where to find me. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.